Sales and catering systems, CRM. There seems to be a lot of confusion and misconceptions about what these systems are. So I have my partner here at Lure Agency, Susan Tucker. So we'll
Hello.
clear up some of this misconception. Welcome to the InSync show, Susan.
Thank you. Let's do this.
Fantastic. You're going to dive right in.
I'm going to dive right in.
Actually, you're co-hosting this with me, so I apologize. Anyways, welcome to the show, co-host.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you the first question. You ready?
I am.
All right. Cory, what is the difference between a sales and catering system and a CRM built for proactive selling?
Oh, so funny you mentioned that. Sales and catering systems are fantastic tools for business that's already been booked. Contracts, BEOs, event details. It's really an execution tool, and it helps keep the wheels in place once that business comes in. But it does not create new demand, by the way. Did you know that?
Yes.
Oh, you did. Wow, you're way ahead of me here. A modern CRM is built for proactive selling, i.e. warm prospecting, which we like to talk about here at Lure, right? Prospecting lists, automated follow-ups, email text campaigns, and lead scoring, which is going to make a seller's job of looking for business, creating demand, so much more pain-free and enjoyable at times, right? So we're going to consider a modern CRM an actual growth tool, and it helps you hunt, not just coordinate. So does that help?
Yeah, that totally helps. So what you're saying is that when people have a sales and catering system, I think from what I understand is that those leads and prospects, they're only into the system once they are considered a lead. Like once they say, yes, I'm interested in booking something. There's no tool to nurture leads prior to them being pushed into the sales and catering system.
That's indeed the truth. So one system waits for the RFP. The other one creates the pipeline before it even shows up. So you're spot on. You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So let's do a little switcheroo here. And I'm going to ask you this next question, Susan. So why are so many hotel teams still so reactive and not proactive?
I think that's a really good question. There have been so many years that sales teams have been able to rely on CVent, RFPs, repeat business, maybe relationship referrals, and brand demand. They haven't really had to go out and find new prospects because when your calendar is already full of inbound RFPs, proactive selling, it just doesn't feel that urgent until the RFPs are down, of course. So teams are going to be reactive because systems are built around booking management, not prospecting. So there's really not any structured way to track outreach, segment verticals, automate follow-up, see buyer engagement. They haven't really had the tools in place in which to use that in order to drive in new business.
Would you also agree that oftentimes in hospitality, activity volume equates to business is good? Is that not always the case?
That seems like that has been the case before, but I think times are changing. The way people are looking for business and things are changing.
They are indeed. And one thing that we want to change here, Susan, is flipping the script from just relying on inbound RFPs that convert at what, 3 to 5%?
Pretty low.
Right. And focus more on direct by going proactive because they convert at what rate?
I don't know the actual number.
Oh, you don't? Well, that rate is anywhere between, say, 35 and 55%.
Well, here's one thing I do know that we hear over and over again about RFPs coming through. Our sales teams are out there getting ghosted. They're spending all this busy time trying to respond to all these RFPs that aren't even a good fit to begin with. So if we can drive more direct group business, we can create a system with a CRM to help them manage all of it. It's just like magical.
Yeah, indeed it is. Thank you for
Awesome.
that.
Well, why don't I ask you a question, Cory?
All right. Bring it on.
Bring it on. All right. How can a hotel layer in a proactive CRM without ripping out their existing systems? How hard is it to implement this?
The legacy systems are a little bit more difficult, but the newer systems, it's really easy to bolt on a proactive selling CRM. And our solution, shout out to Revly CRM, one we built for hospitality. And for the lack of a better understanding, it's a HubSpot. Everybody knows the brand name HubSpot. So it's simply bolting on this piece to the front end of the sales and catering system, right? It's going to enable you to capture more direct business. It's going to help you nurture that direct business automatically using these automations, the ones that you said that are missing in a traditional sales and catering system. You're able to track engagement, track who's actually consuming your content, clicking on the links, and then ultimately lead scoring and showing you proactively where the fish are. So you can spend time nurturing those people, picking up the phone, emails. Those aren't able to do in a sales and catering system. And one thing we think is of high value is staying top of mind consistently with your prospects. Those are currently sitting in your sales and catering system, collecting dust. You and I both know sometimes when we clean those lists in the sales and catering, over half of those contacts are no good. And they don't know because they're not touching their list consistently.
Yeah.
So if we think of it this way, sales and catering runs the event. A system like Revly CRM builds the demand. So you don't have to rip anything out. You just add a growth component to the front end of sales and catering so you can really help proactively get your sales team to help generate some more direct group business.
It's like adding a rocket to your team. It's just like taking off.
There you go. Where's those Zoom emojis, by the way?
Yeah, they're not popping up right now.
Let's talk about real world examples. And I hear that you've got a stellar example to share with us, by the way, that is using this exact same strategy to drive more direct group business.
Well, I have two actually.
Oh,
Two. Well, as you know, we recently had a great conversation with Heather Roos over at Wingspread Retreat and Executive Center. And one of the things that she brought up is she loves the CRM that we've been using with her and her team because she is stretched very thin as a marketing director of a small team. Sometimes she's changing sheets, sometimes she's redoing the website, she's doing all kinds of things. She said that one of the things that she loves is that we can really help her streamline her prospecting because of the lead scoring that we have on the back. So she logs in once a week. She sees the lead scoring, who's got the highest numbers, and then she knows to follow up with them. So that's one. I mean, saving time is amazing. We always want to save time.
That's a fantastic example. And a lot of people in hospitality, that's a new concept. That's not really new in other industries. But can you share why that lead score is so important when you are looking for business?
Absolutely. So let's say you have a list, a contact database of 7,000 people. So you send them a monthly touch point, not an e-blast, leading with value. Maybe you send them a link to the most recent blog post. Maybe you send them a link to your team building ideas, whatever it is.
Or maybe even a meme, right?
Or even a meme. When people are clicking on the links, or they're replying to the email, or they're forwarding the email, or if they just go to your website after they saw the email because they were reminded, oh yeah, Wingspread, I forgot about them. They click on the signature, the Wingspread, and go look at your website. The system is tracking that activity. So the more activity that they have, the higher the number that they get on their lead score. So the system is saying, hey, this person is kind of interested in what you've got going on. They're doing this, this, and this, and this. We're going to give them this score so that you know their intent. When you go into the system and you can see your contacts, you could be like, oh, Betty Sue clicked on the past 5 emails. She went to the pricing page. Hey, maybe you should follow up with them because they've got a high lead score. So that's how the lead scoring works, which is obviously I get excited about it. I know you get excited about it.
I do. I love looking at the scoring. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, because when your boss comes to you and says, we need sales, we've got need dates to fill.
That's right.
Then one of the places that you can start is by seeing the lead score in the system and being like, hey, these people were active recently. They're very engaged in what we have going on. Why don't I reach out to them first? Your time is valuable and you can really make the best use of it. So that's one case study. Can I share another one?
That's great. Shoot it at us.
Well, I just get so excited because we're working with these properties and we see what's happening on the back end, and we want so many other folks to do the same thing because we have the data because of the CRM. So we have another property that we've been working with for quite a while. And in 1 year, when we got them switched over to the CRM, everybody was all dialed in. We were able to see that there was $1.2 million generated in direct group business. That's commission free because we used a mix of nurturing campaigns. So leading with value to those contacts that you have in your database that you maybe haven't connected with in a while, and warm prospects. We also had a couple of automations that we put together by creating a lead magnet. And then we've had some campaigns going with that automatically happening in the back end, still happening today, bringing in new leads. It's automated on the back end. But because we're able to touch on those existing contacts, bring in some new warm prospects and lead with value, then we were able to see 1.2 in direct group business because of that.
Love it. And ironically, a lot of that business, as you mentioned, direct, commission free. But do you find it ironic that most of the messaging and the way that the strategy is set up, you don't even need to necessarily ask for the sale?
You don't. You
right?
don't.
Why is
value.
that?
Let me get into it before you even ask the question.
Right. Why is that, Susan?
Because you're leading with value and you're staying top of mind. I mean, I think in some ways, people want to beat somebody over the head with, we're a particular resort and like, we've got sales, book us. And then somebody's going to unsubscribe. So
Totally.
because it's always leading with value, like, hey, we did this article on team building ideas for the summer. We thought you might find it of interest. Then they don't unsubscribe. Right. And then they're still like, oh yeah, Stonewall Resort. They are teaching me a lot. They're helping me become a better event planner, meeting planner. I think I'm going to use them. They've given a lot of value to me over this past year. Interestingly, on one of the accounts, the 1.2 million in direct group business, some of the business, we've seen people book business and been in the nurturing campaign for 5-6 years. Like they open every email for years and then they book all this business, so it works. They didn't unsubscribe. They stayed connected. That relationship, we're building that relationship.
And it's a mixture of getting the insights to go proactive when you need it, while it's creating direct inbound, right?
Yep.
Inbound it's not part of the RFP culture.
Yeah.
And what I like about all is we see a lot of those direct inquiries come from, most of them are not from professional planners. They're non-professional planners. They're not shopping a ton of resorts. They may be looking at 2 or 3 venues, but they're asking basic questions. They need a lot of help. That's where the helpful resources come into play. As soon as that prospect realizes, hey, this team really has my best interest at heart, I'm not going to risk it with a team that I've never even met. I can't see them. I don't recognize their name. It's that trust element at the end of the day. And when you build a system like that, you're on fire, right?
You're on fire, like that rocket.
Yes. Love that. Well, hey, always appreciate our conversation. Appreciate you co-hosting In Sync Show with me, Susan.
Yes. Thank you for letting me co-host with you.
Yeah, you
get out. I get excited about automations and stuff. So
I know that's all I have to do to get you on one of these things. Well, hey, we're going to talk geeky techie stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me, and I can't wait for our next conversation.
Sounds great.
Do something fun.